Hi everybody, it's me GhostCritic and I'm here with my pick of the week from my pull list. Despite there being so many good books out last week, I had to give that accolade to Secret Wars issue number 2. It was amazing. In my most humble opinion. We have got more Thors that you can shake a mystical magical hammer at here. You can clearly see from the cover this was going to be very heavily Thor based. And you know, lots of Thors. What was that all about? What's going on? Because in issue 1, if you were a new reader to Secret Wars, if that was the first issue you picked up of Marvel for a long time, very much like myself, that wasn't kind of steeped in everything that had gone before, particularly, as you've all told me and what I've been told so many times, New Avengers, you have to read that to know what's going on in Secret Wars. Well, I think you did for perhaps the first issue, because as a new reader, the first issue was very difficult to understand in the sense that how did this all come about? We were just thrown in at the deep end as a new reader as to what was going on. You know, why were all the planets you know, disappearing? Why were these last 2 planets colliding? And there was no even scent of a kind of catch up to a new reader, or maybe just even a partial reader of Marvel, to be honest. So as a new reader, you were kind of like, okay, I've just got to go along with the ride here and hopefully it will sort itself down the line. With issue 2, I feel now that we are all in the same boat. Please correct me if I'm not, because I just feel now the event has happened. The 616 and the Ultimate Universe have collided and we are left with what we have got, and here we are being introduced to it. And the use of Thor in this is a kind of semi-clever way of introducing the reader and filling the reader in with all the information that they're going to need moving forward in this new Secret Wars event. It kicks off with what looks very much like an initiation ceremony, finding a Thor, as we see a couple of people trying to lift the hammer, seeing if they're worthy of. Eventually, you know, one young man picks it up, raises it aloft, and yes, he must be worthy. He is the Thor. And immediately you are caught off guard, because the scene kind of turns around to everyone who's watching, and everyone in the room is clad out in Thor clobber. You're like, what? What's going on here? What obviously transpires is that, as I said in the video that you may or may not have just watched, there is a new title coming out called Thors, which clearly comes out from what happens here, where Thors is basically a governing police force, and Hickman uses the Thors as a convenient kind of exposition tool, letting the readers know what the new setup is on this new world. And yes, we hear that there are many kingdoms with many borders. Each kingdom is governed by a baron. It is not really accepted for people to cross borders, and you need to get permission from the residing barons. But who is presiding over all of it? Well, as the scene turns back around and they pray to their new god, you look up and there is the mask of Doctor Doom. Jaw drop. Okay, we may have seen this coming, but it is still a kind of whoa moment. It's like God Doom. Everything has got Doom on it now. Instead of Asgard, it's Doomguard. And they are the police force for Doom. They go out and capture or bring in all offending parties, and this is where we're introduced to this kind of high court, which is kind of governed, I guess, by Dr. Strange, who is now the Sheriff of Agamotto, and his rule is the final rule, of course, just below Doom's rule. And this is where the disputes between barons and kingdoms occur, and of course these generally end up in kind of dueling fights to the death, or the decision from Doom himself as he watches over. And what we have is Sinister from the X-Men universe and the Braddock family, the Captain Britons, basically coming to heads. You know, Sinister has said some rather dirty, underhand things. The Braddocks aren't happy, and so they bring it to the High Court. And Sinister duels with Brian Braddock, and again we have lots of twists and turns. We think it's over so quickly, and then it isn't. And it's all very exciting. This scene was particularly tense, and then as soon as obviously Doom opens his mouth, you know, everyone goes quiet. It's very serious. This is the boss. You don't talk back to him, you don't mess with him, unless, you know, you want to be sent somewhere not very nice. It did bring to the fore, obviously, not only kind of Doom's superiority in this new world, but at the same time showed that he doesn't quite have complete control, complete kind of omnipotence over this world, as there are still little pockets of kind of hidden citadels and kingdoms that he doesn't yet control, and he's desperately, you know, trying to find out where they are to conquer them. Now, while this is all going on, we have part of the FF, the Future Foundation, the dragon character, I can't remember, is it just Dragon Man? I can't remember, and some of the kids from the FF, they have discovered a crashed ship. This we know has come from either the Ultimate Universe or the 616, one of the escape crafts. And this is where the cover-ups start. This is not part of the Doom world. God Doom did not create this. It is not of this world, but this world should be all there is. And Doom will not have anything else said that goes against that. And so, at the behest of Sheriff Agamotto, Steve Strange, it is quarantined, it is hidden away from the public eye so they will not find out, and you can start seeing the kind of strained allegiances. You now wonder how trustful people are of Doom, if they are kind of playing a waiting game, is there some kind of double crossing going to happen down the line. And again, it's just adding that bit more flavour to the pot. Other great bits in here was, of course, the introduction of the shield. This is a kind of barrier around Doomguard, or Doom, where Doom resides, that is holding back. That's holding back the zombie hordes, not only the zombie hordes, but Annihilus and his annihilation wave with all his drones. It's also holding back the Ultron AI that has kind of proliferated. And this is where one of the Captain Britons are thrown into or over as punishment from the High Court scene previously, and we see him desperately battling against the zombie hordes, which probably didn't go very well by the end of it. By the end of this, we see the scene with the crashed spaceship being kind of accidentally opened, and who is it that resides in it? Well, it is Thanos and his cabal of evildoers who have come from the Ultimate Universe. You've got Proximus in there, you've got the evil Reed Richards from the Ultimate Universe, so they're clearly going to stir the plot up, and it's basically introduced Battleworld in a very subtle way to us, without kind of hammering us over the head about it. We know it is Battleworld, but if we hadn't known that previous, this would have been a very cool way of introducing this kind of patchwork planet that has been made up of different alternate universes of Marvel. I just enjoyed the crap out of this. Ribbick's artwork on here is fantastic, very reminiscent of the time I was reading Uncanny X-Force, which is another fantastic story. And it's a great Marvel event. I am loving this. It has made me get that flavour of my Marvel fanboyishness back. Just a fantastic issue. I know a lot of people kind of like about Marvel events. I've said that myself. I've said the last great Marvel event for me was Secret Invasion. Everything that came after that was kind of like, and I gave up after Fear itself. Anything that came after that, I wasn't interested in. So Secret Wars for me, this hopefully will be the thing that lifts and drags me, not kicking and screaming, back into the Marvel Universe.